Lisa, that's Ronnie's wife and daughter, granddaughter of ours. My wife Carol is sitting over here. I think most of you have met her this morning. Now there's another group of people I take for granted that I hardly ever mention their names or introduce them, but I think in a group like this, you need to know exactly who they are because you already know, but I think they do a fantastic job because they have to contend with me, and that's the people who do the organizing, and they keep thinking that, you know, this is a political campaign. This is not just go after the Fed campaign, and they have to think politically. So, and they worked, of course, in the Campaign for Liberty as well as in the previous campaign. So I want to mention, I think I don't know if they're still here. Is John here, or did they run out on me? Well, anyway, I'll mention their names. John Tate. Here's John Tate here. And Jesse Benton is the political director. And Debbie Hopper here, who's been with us for a few years. She's a great organizer. And, okay, and then John McArdle that helped put this together. Where's John? Now Jesse has a particularly difficult job because he's in the family. He's married to another granddaughter, and he lives near us, so he hears from me all the time. Anytime I have a complaint, he hears from me. But anyway, they have done a good job, and they've kept the campaign on track. And I think the campaign is going very, very well. And sometimes I think it's in spite of me. Sometimes I think I help. But really, what I think is help, what I think really is tremendous help is the message of liberty, and that's why we're winning this fight and we're making such progress. So I want to actually thank you very much because we can't have a campaign, we can't change the country without people like you. People who work hard at it, are interested, study and reading and influencing people, and give the support that we need. If we don't have support from people like you, there is no campaign. I mean, already in this campaign there are several that have started to drop by the wayside. And basically when they start weakening or don't run a full campaign, it has to do with the fact that they don't have financial backing. And I have not been very good personally at knocking on doors, making phone calls and saying, hey look, I need you to make a donation, I need you to make a donation. But I do deeply appreciate it. I think it's a lot more fun having a message that is spontaneously popular, and then a few people get together and turns out to be a lot of people and spontaneously have an event like the original Money Bomb on the day we were celebrating the Tea Party effort back in 207. And that is the kind of thing that I think is very encouraging to see this spontaneity of an expression of support for the message and for what we're doing. And this is obviously where we're making a lot of progress. Last night, of course, we had a little debate, and it seems, I think I should qualify that. It wasn't a little debate, it was an opportunity of a few minutes here and there to get our message out. And there's been a few times I've walked away fairly frustrated with the whole effort. You know, how did I do? Did the message get out? Was there any benefit from it? But I'm always very pleased after the dust settles and I read a few things and talk to a few people. For the most part, people feel very happy that we have these debates and we get more supporters all the time. And I thank you all for giving me the support and the encouragement that is so necessary. But, you know, last night there was a picture came out last night, and it's on the internet this morning, and it's a picture of myself with, I think, the governor of Texas or something. Sorry, we had several governors up there. It was the governor of Texas. And the truth is that I had never met him before. And some of the people in the media sort of think, I don't believe you. How could that be true? He's your governor, and you've both been in business, political business for a long time. And it's true, we've never crossed paths. So last night we did. And the picture, of course, if you haven't seen it, is Harry is looking straight at me, and he has his hand on my arm like he's not going to let me move, and he's doing this to me. kids, including, have been writing to me, what was he saying to you? So this morning we had a call from the Des Moines Register. What was he saying to you? And I said, well, I'll tell you what he was saying to me, I cannot repeat. It was so fast. And she said, what? So I said, I'm just kidding. That doesn't matter. It'll be on the internet saying, it was so bad, I couldn't even repeat it. You know, what he was saying to me. But the truth is, I wish it were a much more interesting story than that, because I don't even recall the moment that was occurring, and I don't remember exactly what he said, if we didn't have any crosswords, so I'm sorry about that. The most challenging words were said on the stage when not only I, but others called them on some of the programs in Texas, and it's not a beautiful sight in Texas, although the statistics are better. We're better off, and I think maybe Romney or somebody else brought it up, that we have a right to work law, and we don't have an income tax, and we don't have corporate tax, and that does invite business in. But there are some other things, like in Texas, there's 170,000 new government jobs. That's not exactly the kind of jobs that we want. But anyway, it was a worthwhile evening, and I am satisfied that we got some of our points across. But we still have a long way to go. But there's a big difference between what's happening now and what happened 4 years ago. I mean, 4 years ago, it was with a fair amount of pressure that somebody talked me into doing that, and I did do it. But actually, I thought the results were way beyond my expectations. If you'd have told me 4 years ago that we would be where we are today, both philosophically and politically, I wouldn't have believed you, because it is an overwhelming task. People say, well, what are you going to do tomorrow, and how come you didn't do this, and what's going to happen next week? I said, in a way, what we're trying to do is change 100 years of bad government, so we have to be, look at this in a proper perspective. So yes, we know what to do, but they say, what are you going to do the first day you're in office? Well, it's not easy to give jobs. I said, well, that's not the easiest thing to do, and you got to talk about tax codes and business cycle and all this. But then I said, well, it's the first day. What does the president have the most authority over? Foreign policy and direction of military troops. The first day, I'll bring all the troops home and let them spend their money here. Last night they brought up the subjects that a few of us have been interested in, the Federal Reserve and foreign policy, economic policy, and even medical policy, the kind of thing that they didn't ask me about. but well, at first why should you ask me this? Why did you ask me this? This is what I want to talk about. This is my issue. But then you know what? I think finally, if you look at that, it wasn't so bad for us, because the others started giving answers that were somewhat similar to our viewpoint, and that shows you the strength of ideas. And that means that they're pure politicians, we know that, and they know that they have to appeal to a growing number of people who are interested in these views. So they become more anti-Fed. They're now talking about bringing troops home. So I'll tell you, and the one other issue they did not bring up, I've tried to get the drug war brought up about it, and a little bit about the TSA and all. But can you imagine how we're suffering from the consequence of 9/11 with the immediate passage of the Patriot Act? Why shouldn't the Patriot Act have been a major issue in our personal liberties here at home, and the war on drugs? I mean, this is a big issue. There is no concern at all about that issue, except with the people. The people are sick and tired of it, and that's why we'll eventually break through on that, and I think that's what part of this campaign is about. So we've broken through certainly on the monetary issue, and we've broken through on foreign policy. But we're up against some powerful special interests. The military-industrial complex is not exactly small. The banking industry, and the corporate world, and international financiers, that is not small. So there's a lot of powerful special interests that would like to keep the status quo going. But what's going for us is they're working with a failed system. See, they can't patch this up. They did it in a way in '08. I mean, the thing was coming unglued. There was a major economic crisis. They knew there was going to be, a depression for Wall Street if something wasn't done. So they patched it up to a degree by, once again, printing more money, spending more money, dumping all the debt and all the problems on the middle class. Jobs were lost, houses were lost, but that's it really didn't do the job. After all of that spending, the markets aren't any healthier. Actually, we haven't really produced any significant jobs since the year 2000. It's been over 10 years. And if you look at real income, it's been down for over 10 years. The significance of this is that this problem is not going away. And the difficult job is to explain 100 years of bad politics in 30-second sound bites. But I really believe we're making progress. And if we've gotten their attention now and they're looking at it, it's really pretty good to see them asking questions of those conventional politicians. What do you think we should do with Bernanke? Oh, we want to put him in again. Anyway, so this is real progress, and we have to continue that movement. But I do want to thank you very much for the support. Keep plugging away. If we're going to have time for a few questions, but the one question I'm asked so frequently is people finally get interested and excited. Okay, tell me exactly what I have to do. I tell you what, I can't tell you exactly what you must do. But in general terms, I suggest that people should become informed, to know the answers, to understand economics, to understand the Federal Reserve System, and to promote it in any way you can. To yourself first, to your neighbors and friends and family, and spread that message. And every time you talk with others and you convert one, they're going to convert two more. And Leonard Read, who was one of my favorite people who helped me understand this whole philosophy, said that you don't get converts by grabbing them by the shirt collar and tell them this is the way it's going to be. They have to have an open mind, and I'm always very pleased in Congress when a serious congressman will come and sit down and say, would you please explain something? So this is what comes, but you have to first have the knowledge, and then you have to have the credibility. But I think a lot of that is happening already, and this is where we're making progress. But what we need to do, though, is continue it. So some people go into education, some people go into media. Just think of what's happening in the media. Who would have ever dreamed 4, 5, or 6 years ago we'd have a branch of the Fox News Network with Napolitano and Stossel on the air? I think that is pretty great. So, but we need teachers and professors all over, and that is what's happening. The attitudes are changing, and that's why we are making the progress. It is said that in the area of thought leaders, and I place all of you in that group because you're intensely interested in this. You're not waiting till a week before the election and making some superficial decision. But you need about, some people say 5 or 6%, but we're 10 or more of the serious-minded people who know and understand what's happening. So we're on this verge of a breakout on this, because we have planted the seeds. At the same time, the failure of the system of Keynesian economics and the monetary system and the foolishness of our foreign policy, the evidence is just overwhelming. And what does it indicate? Which direction we should go in? Well, we don't need a brand new direction, but we need to pick up the pieces that were left where our founders directed us, and pick up on the Constitution, refine the ideas and the understanding. I don't use the terms, we have to go back to a gold standard. There can be a better monetary standard, a refined standard. There's always improvement. But we need to pick up and improve on the concepts of liberty, and that is our job. But I think the opportunity is staring us in the face. Things are moving quite rapidly. I say they move more rapidly than I ever dreamed of back 4 years ago. But I am under the belief that even in the next 12 months, a lot more can happen, economically speaking and politically speaking, on what's happening. Not only can it happen and be very favorable and see a lot of progress, we also have to be concerned of it going in the wrong direction too. Because there are some candidates and some potential candidates, when you hear them on the television, they become much more authoritarian. I will take over, you know, the man on a white horse. And that can happen.